What's good, y'all? So on Monday, two city councillors by the name of Kristyn Wong-Tam and Josh Matlow proposed a motion in the council that is proposing to cut the Toronto police budget by a minimum of 10% in order to reallocate these funds into much needed community and social service supports. It's important to note that the Toronto police budget is a whopping $1.22 billion. And in fact, Toronto taxpayers, a quarter of their property taxes goes towards the police funds. So the reason why these two councillors have put forward this very good motion is because of the recent civil unrest that we've seen in the United States primarily and around the world. And this increased discussions that we've been having over police brutality, police accountability, and how overfunded they are. It's important to note that in this motion, they're also proposing to ban the use of military-style weapons and chemical weapons on citizens, and also the banning of lethal force. So this is a very good motion that these two councillors have put forth. In fairness, I do think that 10% is not enough. I think we could go even a bit further, but it's still a step in the right direction. And one of the services that can be greatly benefited from the Toronto police budget being cut is mental health services, for example, because the Toronto police, they respond to about 30,000 mental health related calls every year. And a lot of the Toronto police involved deaths included someone that had a mental health issue or a substance abuse issue. So this is such a very important thing, because the police, they're oftentimes called to scenes where they're just not, they have no business being there, because it's not a criminal situation. It's someone that's having, let's say, an overdose, or they're having a mental breakdown. So the police, they should not be in these situations. So that's why cutting the budget of the police is a very important thing. And also it's kind of crazy that the Ontario government, they recently announced that they would be giving $200 million to like community wellness programs, and 99% of those funds that the Ontario government provided, they went to policing, and only 1% of them went into like the social services and stuff like that. Why does our police have to have that much resources? You tell me. And there's another good thing that they're proposing in this motion that Councillors Matlow and Councillors Tam proposed. They're also proposing that the Toronto police budget, they provide us with more insight as to how they're spending their money. Because the way it works right now, the city council, all they do is approve the budget that the police have for a given year, but they don't actually get to see what they're spending their money on. So they could be spending their money on a bunch of bullshit for all we know. And to be honest, I wouldn't be surprised if that's the case. So that's another good thing. It's going to provide us with more transparency. This is your taxpayers' money. You should know where the hell your money is going into. We can't just be giving them over $1 billion and then they're just acting willy-nilly and authoritarian. Another important thing that has to be mentioned with this proposed motion is that it's not saying that, oh, police are not going to ever be available if it's like a mental health related call. No, it's just going to be that sometimes the 911 dispatch doesn't have to send out cops. They can send out like a mental health support unit that can deal with someone that's having like an episode or they're having a traumatic episode, right? Only in the scenarios where someone is posing as a harm to themselves or to someone else would the police be involved. There's also been a few other councillors that have expressed their support, such as Joe Cressy, Gord Perks, Mike Layton. However, there are a few councillors as well as Mayor John Tory who either haven't come out and supported it yet or are downright against it. I believe already Mayor Tory said that he would vote against it in order just to work on improving community and police relations. But I think that you can't improve the relations with the police and the community if you don't also take a look at their incredibly massive budget and reallocate some of those funds. So I hope that the mayor, he reverses his stance too, because I believe it's going to need about 17 votes to waive deferral to a committee, and then it's going to need 14 votes in order to pass. So I hope that more people get on board, because this is a step in the right direction. We want to be proactive. We don't want to see things get out of control even more. And also, I'm going to link this website that's called swantonyswan.com/BLM. And on this website, you're going to find info on how to get in touch with your councillor. And it's going to include as well a phone script in case you don't know what to say to them. And it's also going to have a sample letter that you can mail out to your local councillor. So I'm going to include that in the description. Make sure you guys give that a check, all right? But yeah, the police in Toronto, we need them to be more accountable. Again, 10%, that could be increased because Lord knows they don't need over $1 billion, especially when these mental health services, when these social services, public housing, these are the services that really need money. So yeah, this is a pretty good motion, and fingers crossed that it passes. As always, thank you again for watching. If you like what you see here and you want to see more, make sure to hit that like button, click on the subscribe button, and click on the bell so you never miss a notification. Till next time, y'all.